This kind of liar doesn't even feel ashamed. The woman in red heels folded her arms and looked the ragged girl up and down. People passing by slowed their steps, curious. Wait, what are you doing now? Isn't begging enough for you today? The girl's clothes were worn, her hair messy, her shoes nearly torn open at the sides. She sniffed lightly and held out her hand. "Can you give me a little more?" she asked softly. "Just $100. $100? The woman scoffed. "Oh, don't you have hands and feet? Go work." "I did," the girl replied quietly. "I worked all night at a courier warehouse. I only made 100. I just want to go home." A few people laughed, but one man didn't. Daniel had been standing near the bus stop watching the whole scene. He wasn't dressed richly either. His shirt was faded from too many washes, his shoes dusty from long hours on the road. He stepped forward and pulled out a folded bill. "Here," he said. It's not much." The girl looked up at him, really looked at him. "Thank you," she said. Her voice changed. It wasn't weak anymore. It was steady. "You're Daniel, right?" He frowned. "How do you know my name?" "I hear things." She studied his face for a long second. "You're a good person. A drop of kindness deserves a fountain of gratitude." He scratched the back of his neck awkwardly. "You don't have to make it dramatic. I heard you worked at a courier company last night," she continued calmly. "How about this? I'll give you one." He blinked. "Give me what?" "A courier company. You can be the general manager." He stared at her. "Big sister, it's broad daylight. Don't joke with me. The courier companies in this city all belong to Sterling Group," she said evenly. "Yeah," he laughed. "And what are you gonna give me? The whole group?" She met his eyes. I am the chairman of Sterling Group." For 3 seconds, he just stared at her. Then he burst out laughing. "If you were the chairman, how could you not afford a train ticket?" She didn't argue. She just tilted her head slightly. "Let me help you another way, then." That evening, Daniel's phone kept buzzing. It was his mother. "You're coming home tomorrow for my birthday," she said firmly, "and bring your girlfriend." "I don't have a girlfriend." "Last time you said you did." "Odd if you don't bring her, don't come home." He hung up and groaned. The girl was still sitting on the roadside watching him. "You need a girlfriend," she said. He looked at her slowly. "You can't be serious." "I am." "You want to pretend to be my girlfriend? Just to help you deal with your mother?" He hesitated. This was insane. But the thought of going home alone and being forced into another blind date felt worse. "Fine," he said finally. But don't take it too far." She stood up and brushed the dust off her sleeves. "Then we need to buy clothes. I can't go dressed like this. That would embarrass you." Inside the boutique, Daniel felt like he had stepped into another world. He kept checking the price tags and nearly fainted at every number. Then she walked out of the dressing room. He almost didn't recognize her. Her posture was straight, her hair neatly styled, her expression calm and confident. And the worn-out beggar had disappeared. In her place stood a woman who looked like she belonged on the cover of a magazine. "How do I look?" she asked. "Classy," he admitted. The saleswoman smiled. "That outfit is $8,888. Daniel choked. "How much?" The girl calmly took out a black card and handed it over. "Charge it." The machine beeped. Approved. Daniel stared at her. "Where did you get so much money?" She slipped the card back into her purse. "If you can't pay it back," she said lightly, "may just marry me." He shook his head. "You really should act in short dramas." The next day, they arrived in Daniel's village. His mother, Mrs. Hart, was already surrounded by relatives chatting loudly. "Oh, Daniel, you're finally back," she cried. Then her eyes landed on the woman beside him. "And this must be the girlfriend." The girl bowed slightly. "Hello, Auntie." Whispers spread quickly. "She's pretty. She looks like she has money." "I heard Daniel found a big boss in the city." Mrs. Hart's eyes shone. "Is it true you run a company?" "I manage a few businesses," the girl replied calmly. Before more could be said, a luxury car pulled up outside the gate. Clara stepped out. Daniel stiffened. Clara was his ex-girlfriend. Stylish, confident, always perfectly dressed. "Auntie," Clara said sweetly, handing over a gift box. "Happy birthday. And this is a small present." She placed a car key on the table. "For you." Gasps filled the courtyard. "That's a BMW. At least 200,000? Clara
Let them
glanced at the girl
look.
beside
It
Daniel.
doesn't
And you
change
are? His
anything.
girlfriend? The girl replied.
But
Clara smiled thinly.
what if they
Really? Funny.
talk?
I've never heard of you.
Their
She
words
stepped
mean
closer.
nothing to
If you
me.
two are really together, kiss. The courtyard went silent. Daniel froze. Before he could react, the girl grabbed his collar and kissed him. The crowd exploded. Clara's smile disappeared. If you're such a big boss, Clara said loudly. What company do you own? Sterling Group, the girl replied. The laughter was immediate. Sterling Group's chairman is famous, Clara scoffed. And it's definitely not you. The girl calmly pulled out the black card. There are only 10 of these in the world. Clara rolled her eyes. Swipe it. The card was inserted. The machine processed. Then displayed a balance so long the cashier had to scroll. Someone whispered, "Is that 1 billion?" Clara's face turned pale. Impossible. Before anyone could speak again, construction trucks roared into the village. Men jumped down, shouting, "This house is scheduled for demolition. We're building a resort here." Mrs. Hart panicked. "This is our ancestral home. We have approval from Sterling Group," the foreman said coldly. The girl stepped forward. "From whom?" "From the chairman." She took out her phone and dialed. "Stop the demolition immediately," she said calmly. Seconds later, the foreman's phone rang. His expression changed instantly. "Yes, Chairman, understood." He bowed deeply. The trucks reversed out. The entire village stared at her. Clara shook her head. "She staged this. She hired them." At that moment, a line of black luxury cars entered the narrow road. Security stepped out. An assistant hurried forward. "Chairwoman Evelyn Sterling," he said respectfully. "Sorry we're late." The courtyard fell completely silent. Daniel slowly turned to the woman beside him. You're really the chairman?" She looked at him. "I disguised myself as a beggar," she said softly. "I wanted to find someone who would treat me kindly without knowing who I was." She glanced around at the stunned faces. He was the only one who helped. Mrs. Hart's voice trembled. "My son?" Evelyn nodded. Clara's hands were shaking. Daniel swallowed. "Why didn't you tell me earlier?" "I did," she said gently. "You just didn't believe me." He laughed awkwardly. "I guess I deserved that." She stepped closer. "I don't need someone who loves my money," she said quietly. "I need someone who loves me when I look like I have nothing." He met her eyes. "I never cared about your company," he said honestly. "Even if you were really just a beggar, I would still have helped." A faint smile appeared on her face. "You can have any position in my company," she said. "Director, manager, anything." He thought for a moment. "Make me a delivery supervisor." Everyone stared at him. "You don't want something higher?" she asked. He shook his head. "I don't want success because of you. I want to earn it." Her eyes softened. "Then start from the bottom," she said, "and rise because you deserve to." Around them, the same villagers who had mocked him now looked at him with envy. Clara stood frozen, watching as Daniel walked away beside the most powerful woman in the city. Not because she was rich, but because when she looked like she had nothing, he was the only one who chose her.